So, on this episode of the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast, I'm going to be sharing 5 truths for the hard days with you. And this is actually taken from an email that I wrote years ago. And it is to date my number one, the email that has received the most responses of any email I have ever sent. My inbox was flooded with responses, people thanking me for saying it, heartfelt stories, people who felt like they were heard and understood for the very first time, women who felt validated, women who just were so thankful that someone said, you know what, sometimes life is hard because I think we're supposed to only talk about the good things. And so a lot of women really appreciated it. So I'm excited to share that email, these truths with you. I'm excited to jump in and share that. I know that you will find it empowering. So let's jump in. This is going to be one to save and share with someone you know might have a hard day sometimes too. Let's get started.
Well, hey there, I am Jennifer Roskamp, a certified life coach and homeschool mom of 9 who is passionate about helping women just like you embrace the here and now while also being focused on creating the life you actually want. As a midlife mom in her 40s, about to be a mom in my 50s, I've realized that it's so easy to lose yourself in caring for your family, your home, and all the things. Until one day you realize you're not even sure who you are anymore or what you even want in life. So on this podcast, we're going to work on managing yourself well so that you can manage all of the other things and people well too. So let's dive into what it means to manage your home, your time, your family, and yourself well. This is the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast.
Well, hey there. I am so excited to share this with you today. Again, I know it is a message that is so needed. Uh, Man, and I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like there's so much hard in the world these days. There is so much struggle. And I really hope you'll find these truths helpful. And again, if you know someone who needs these same truths, if there's someone who needs to hear these words, please share it with them. Uh, just save this episode as well. It is going to be one that you know you can come back to when life feels like it's really, really hard. So let me also say that I know that there is so much real hard stuff in the world today, right? I know that many of the things that I define as hard are just not real problems in the overall scheme of the suffering and the despair and just the horrible things that go on in the world. But when we feel like life is hard, that's what we're feeling. And so those feelings of hard, no matter what the triggers, no matter the circumstances, if you are assessing and determining and defining that you're in the middle of a hard day or you're in the middle of a hard season, those feelings are valid and real. Don't discount your feelings because you know that there are quote unquote harder things happening in the world, that there are people who are suffering more. That can be 100% true and likely is, but you can still feel like your life is hard too. So let's jump into these 5 truths. Truth number 1, it's okay to not be happy all the time. I think that one of the hardest things about walking through a storm in life is having to put on that happy face, right? You put on your happy face and you go to work. You put on your happy face when you're caring for your kids. When your friend asks how you're doing, you smile and you mutter some sort of surface answer that gives no true window into the pain that you are feeling in the depths of your soul. And so This is why I'm telling you that sometimes, most likely, when you are alone in the quiet and the stillness of the night, it's okay to not be happy. It's okay to allow yourself to give in to your emotions at times. Emotions are good things. We humans are emotional beings. We are created to feel the entire spectrum of emotions. And so it's okay to allow yourself to just plain hurt sometimes. Now, of course, you can't dwell there for too long. And that's a whole nother conversation. But letting the tears come every once in a while, or maybe kind of a lot during certain seasons, it really is okay. Sometimes you just have to be real with yourself, and that's okay. It's okay to not be happy all the time. Now, with each of these truths, I'm also going to give you a mantra to cling to alongside this truth. A mantra is an empowering thought. So with each one of these truths, I'm going to give you this mantra, this empowering thought that's going to let you just lean a little bit more deeply into the truth that you're allowing yourself to embrace. So the mantra that goes along with it's okay to not be happy all the time is this: all of my feelings are valid, even the hard ones. All of my feelings are valid, even the hard ones. A lot of times we shame or guilt ourselves about some of these hard feelings that we're having. When we feel sad or mad or frustrated and we really know in our minds that we shouldn't be feeling that way, but we are, sometimes we shame and guilt ourselves and tell ourselves that we're bad or we're wrong for feeling those things. This mantra says, all of my feelings are valid, even the hard ones. So that's all wrapped up in truth number one, which is it's okay to not feel happy all the time. Number two truth, it's okay to not have a plan. It's okay to not have all the answers. And it's okay to not know how this season will end. And for someone who is a type A perfectionist, firstborn only child, I have siblings, but if you haven't heard my story about how my siblings are almost 9 and 11 years younger than me, that makes me an only child by default, right? And so for someone like me to have realized you don't have to have all the answers, that was a huge realization for me. And it's one that makes me really excited to share this concept with you because I know I'm not the only perfectionist out there. I know I'm not the only one who, if I'm not careful, can put so much pressure on myself to have the answers, to figure out the plan, to know what is supposed to be happening and where I'm supposed to be going and how everything is supposed to work out all the time. And that is exhausting. Not only is it impossible, it's exhausting. And because it's impossible, that makes it all the more exhausting. So it's okay to not have a plan. It really is okay to just take it, whatever it is, one step at a time. As I've walked through trials, there have been times that I have talked myself through absolutely everything, just one step at a time. And I mean one small step at a time. I would say things like, you have to go get dressed. That's all you have to think about right now. But you do have to go and get dressed. And then after getting dressed, I would then talk myself through the next basic thing. It could even be something like, you have to go downstairs. Sometimes when life is really hard, it's okay to just focus on breathing. Have you ever been in a place where you felt as though you had to remind yourself to just keep breathing? I know that I have been there. And in these times, I have intentionally given myself permission to not have a plan. And this is again coming from someone who has created planners and planning systems and teaches planning. But this all goes to remind you and everyone that there are seasons that just doesn't work. There are seasons that will not resonate. And there are seasons where creating a plan and following a plan it just is not going to be something that you have the bandwidth for. And that is okay. It is okay to have no plan at all. During some of these seasons, the only plan I had at the time was to just do the next thing, whatever that thing was. And that was the extent of my plan, and that was okay. And that is okay for you when it needs to be okay for you as well. It's okay to not have a plan. Here's the mantra that goes along with that. This is the way it is for today. This is the way it is for today. What I like about this mantra is you're also claiming the fact that it's not always going to be this way. Tomorrow it might have to look different, but for today, just for today, this is going to be the way it looks, and that's okay. So the mantra that goes with it's okay to not have a plan is this is the way it is for today. Truth number 3. You're stronger than you think you are. I'm going to say that again. You are stronger than you think you are. Sometimes we just need to hear this, don't we? And maybe you need to back up like 17 seconds and listen to it again and again and again and again and again. You are stronger than you think you are. Because in the midst of great trial, we so easily feel weak. And we so easily feel as though there is no way that we can walk through this season of hard. During these kinds of seasons, during these times, you can cling to this truth that I am telling you right now. So lean in close and listen. You are stronger than you think you are. This is also something that I know you know is true because, like me, I know that you can look back on different seasons, different trials, different challenges, different situations that you walked through. And now in hindsight, you look backwards and you say, I have no idea how I got through that. I have no idea how I did that. In those times, you were stronger than you ever thought you were. And even now, as you reflect in hindsight, you are reflecting on your strength. So knowing that you got through those times, that only gives you more credibility. That gives more credibility to what I'm saying. You are stronger than you think you are. So here's the mantra that goes with this truth. I allow myself to feel all the feelings, and that makes me strong. I'm going to say that again. I allow myself to feel all the feelings, and that makes me strong. Because in reality, weakness, one of the things that shows weakness is when we try to hide from our feelings, when we try to shove them away, when we try to deny them, when we try to ignore them, when we try to bury our head in the sand. It's easier to bury your head in the sand than to face it, than to face whatever the situation is, yes, but also, and bigger, is the idea of hiding from the feelings that the situation is causing. The feelings are what hit us where it matters. And so this mantra says, I allow myself to feel all the feelings, and that makes me strong. Allow those feelings. It does make you strong. Fourth truth. This season of hard won't last forever. I know it can feel as though it will, and some seasons truly are dreadfully long. However, the truth of the matter is that any one season will never last forever. I live in Michigan, and if you know me at all, you know that I am not a fan of the winter, not even a little bit. But I do love how the climate in which I live constantly reminds me that there is always a new season around the corner. I don't necessarily like it when we're in the fall season and I know that winter's around the corner. But at the same time, from a life coach standpoint, it is so helpful to live in a place where I am reminded that things are constantly changing, whether I like it or not. Things are always moving forward. And so this really helps me to remember that just like seasons out my window won't last forever, the seasons of hard things won't last forever either. And I find that when I'm in a valley, when I'm in the midst of one of these hard seasons, it can be impossible to see the way out. Have you ever felt this way? And so it's during these times that you must cling to the truth of knowing that your season of hard, it won't last forever, even though it feels like it will. I'm going to repeat that again too. Even though it feels like it will. So the mantra I have to go with this one is one of my favorite mantras. And I know it will be one of yours too. Here it is. I can do hard things. Write that down. I can do hard things. Put it on 12 sticky notes. If you don't know of my love for sticky notes, they're great. Go get yourself some. I can do hard things. Post it everywhere. Put it with bright neon blinking lights. I can do hard things. You don't have to feel like you can do hard things. This mantra gives you permission to not have to feel it and just say it. Just own it. I can do hard things. When you have this mantra as a regular tool in your arsenal, you show up to hard situations differently. You show up to hard situations just a little bit less slumped over. You have more strength just by reminding yourself, I can do hard things. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to know all the ins and outs of it. You don't have to know the outcome. You just have to know, I can do hard things. Whatever that means, I can do hard things. Love that mantra. And the fifth truth is this. No one season defines you or the story of your life. No one season defines you or the story of your life. Your life is a complete story that is comprised of chapters and paragraphs and even sentences. And these things together make up the whole. Just like no one chapter or no one paragraph in a book covers the entirety of the storyline, the same is true for you. No one season defines the story of your life. It can be so easy to let a bad relationship, a bad business move, a large financial mishap, sickness, or job loss make us feel as though we are that thing. And in reality, we are not someone who is that event that happened to us. Rather, there is only a set of circumstances that occurred around us. So there's an important mindset shift to make here. And so I want to say it again in a slightly different way. You are not your circumstances. Your circumstances merely happened to you. Do you see the difference? We so often internalize the things that happen to us. We internalize them and we allow them to change the way we see ourselves, to change the way we define ourselves. We label ourselves. And usually it's in a negative way. We use our circumstances and we use even the things that maybe we didn't do so well. We use those as a weapon to beat ourselves up with time and time again. Let me just ask you this. When your friend makes a mistake, do you use that mistake to beat her over the head like you do yourself? Do you constantly remind her, 12 years ago, or even 12 days ago? No, you so easily have understanding and empathy and compassion for your friend's mistakes. Why not for yourself? And so back to this truth, right? Back to this truth that says no one season defines you or the story of your life. The truth is that this season doesn't define you, this hard season, it doesn't define you any more than it defines your life. It's simply a season. It's simply a set of circumstances that happen to you. This season isn't really who you are. And when everyone seems to have it together, all together around you, remember, this is just your season. And they are in their own season. When family and friends seem to live on easy street and your entire life kind of collapses right before your eyes, cling to all of these truths. Let me repeat them again. I'm going to repeat each truth and each mantra that went with it. Truth number 1, it's okay to not be happy all the time. And the mantra that goes with that is all of my feelings are valid, even the hard ones. Truth number 2, it's okay to not have a plan. And the mantra that goes with that is this is the way it is for today. Mantra number 3, you're stronger. You are stronger than you think you are. And the mantra that goes with that is I allow myself to feel all the feelings, and that makes me strong. Don't forget that part. Feeling all the feelings is what makes you strong. Truth number 4, this season of hard won't last forever. And the mantra that goes with that is I can do hard things. Make that one something that you post all over the place. And truth number 5, no one season defines you or the story of your life. And the mantra that goes with that is this: I choose. And today I choose joy. Today I choose that joy will define this day. Now, don't expect that just because you choose joy for today and you declare that and you even say that out loud, super smart thing to do, by the way, say that out loud. Know that there are still going to be things that likely come your way today. And in that normal human reaction way, we're not going to feel joy. Know that you are going to have to say, that's right. I already declared that today I choose joy. And so I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing to not feel that sad, to not feel that frustration, to not feel that anxiety, to not feel that guilt, to not feel that injustice, whatever it is. Today I choose joy. It is an active thing. Choosing is active. It's not passive. So that mantra is going to help you when you are in the midst of this hard season and it just feels like you are everything that is happening to you. I am a failure. I am not just someone who lost my job, but I am a loser, right? I am a failure. Remind yourself, no one season defines you. This is just a small part of your life. And eventually, just like the seasons change and things change and life moves forward, you'll move forward from this too. And you might not move forward in the same way. A lot of times, seasons, circumstances, situations, they change us. And you might not be the exact same person moving forward, but life will move you forward from this season. And so you'll step into a new season and that one will be defined a different way. And together, they will all be chapters and paragraphs and lines in the overall story of your life. Friends, some days life is hard. Some days you're just struggling. Some seasons you're struggling. These truths are going to be things that you can cling to help get you out of that back seat where you're just a rider and you're just accepting the waves to wash over you and all the hard things to pile up and beat you down further and further and further. These truths are going to help you climb out of that. It's not going to make all of these hard things go away. It's not going to automatically change that season, but what it will change is yourself. What it will change is what you hear in your head. And therefore, it will change the person who comes to every situation, every circumstance, and every person that you have touch points with. It will help you feel less struggle and more hope. That's what these truths do for you. And so I'm so excited to share these with you. If you found these powerful, again, I would love if you would save this episode, download it. I would love if you would share it with a friend. And I would love it if you could leave me a review wherever it is that you're listening to to this podcast. Those reviews help more people find this podcast. Those reviews help more people know, you know what, maybe this is something I should listen to. I would also love to hear a comment on this episode. If this episode is one that you found helpful, please let me know. I would love to know how this has helped you, even if you're coming back to it. Maybe you don't need these today. Maybe you're not at a place of struggle, but maybe in the future you will be, and you'll remember, you know what? That's right. On the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast, she talked about 5 truths when the days are hard and when I'm struggling. And I'm going to go back and listen to that. And if you listen to it and it touches you in that way, let me know. I always love to know what resonates with you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to walk alongside you. That is my job as a life coach. And I'm so excited to do that with you all here on the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast. Until next time, make it an intentional day.